Jenny, how loud's the music here?
Very loud.
Oh, look at this giant fork. Oh, we've hit the brakes. They're like, stop here. Look at this giant fork and spoon. That's amazing.
That's for a giant.
I need to show that to Kate. Oh, thank you. To Kate, thank you for watching. I appreciate that.
Hi, Jenny.
What's your name? I have to show this to Kate. We have to. How much is it? $14. You would put this on your wall. In your kitchen. This is before plaques that said eat. Let's show that to Kate. Okay, I saw something else on this shelf.
Oh.
What do you think it was? Yes! Hi there, we are at the Goodwill in Avondale, formerly known as the most magical Goodwill. Jenny guessed correctly. This was the other item that caught my eye. I think this was marked made in Brazil or Portugal, some other country than the United States. And then I was joking with Jenny that it took us a really long time to read the bottom of it. I said, doesn't it look like he's singing to a cup of coffee or a cup of tea? She felt it was probably a candle holder, and I believe that she's probably more right than I am, but it is kind of funny. That looks like he's like singing for his coffee. Those, the fork and spoon were amazing, but I left them there. Jenny guessed that this was the other item I was looking at on the more top shelf. It was kind of like a little vignette of kind of garden-y stuff. We have not been here all year. This is the first time this year I've been here. I haven't been to Avondale maybe in 6 months. It had been a long time, and I felt it was time to go. And then it started to snow. I had plans to go other places. Recently, a viewer had left a comment to go to an antique mall that is close by. I had all the plans to go there, and then when we were leaving Goodwill, it was starting to snow, and then Jimmy was saying it's starting to get slick, so I decided to just go home. And look how appropriate. Jenny found this little Christmas thing that was making snow angels. I had forgotten that this Goodwill keeps out the holidays year-round. There's usually a little Easter, a little St. Patrick's Day, a little Valentine's Day. We are going to look at the Christmas stuff because their Christmas stuff was brand new to me. And I was surprised at the amount of Christmas that they still had out, because the Goodwill, I have my French onion soup cups are that same kind of style. The Goodwills around me are slowly getting rid of the Christmas, or putting it away for Christmas, or bringing it to the bins. I'm not sure. So we do look at Christmas a little bit later. I was looking to see if these are older. I don't know why I do that, because these are not good sellers for me. But look how cute this is. This is a hobbyist piece. It was very thin, though. It would make me a little nervous about shipping it. Hobbyist piece done in 2011. Very nicely done. I decided to put it back just because the thinness of the ceramic made me very nervous. I've talked about these in the past. These do sell well for some people, but for me, the only ones that sell well are the ones that are embossed on the back. There's usually like a witch or a pumpkin on the back. Jenny's pointing out that it would be funny if we made our dogs wear that spider costume, and I agreed, but we did not get them. I was mostly looking for stuff to sell on Whatnot. I was hoping for some Valentine items, but I feel that Valentine items are very hard to come by. At least they are around where I live. This was a plastic bag full of Christmas stuff, and the ornaments inside were so pretty. Look at this Matryoshka doll. It does have some numbers on it. I don't know if this is an old world ornament. I don't believe it is a Polish ornament. Wouldn't that be nice? They're just nicely done. And the bag was ripped open, and so it was easy for us to see what was inside. You had a bird on a nest. You had the Matryoshka, I think a cardinal, and some gardening gloves. There was definitely a theme going on there of birds and spring. And then there was also a metal lantern that's still on its side there. There are the gardening gloves. Look how sweet that is. I was seeing what else was in there and if their price was on the bag, because they will not sell you things that are not priced. And then here's the cardinal on the tree branch. So someone ripped the bag open, decided they didn't like them, and I decided, well, I like them even if they are Christmassy. They kind of are springy, wintry, springy ornaments. So I decided to get those. And this bell was very pretty. I couldn't decide if that was flashed or if it was really green glass, and I was a little confused at why the handle was so small. So if you know why the handle is so small, please let me know. Very pretty, but bells are a hard seller for me, so I decided to leave that for somebody who knows what they're talking about. I did Google Lens it real quick, but nothing came up, and so I decided to move on to the Halloween. There's lots and lots to look at. They had lots of bags of Christmas. I started to look through the bags of Christmas. Then I realized, hey, Christmas is over. I do sell Christmas year-round on eBay, but I'm trying to get more springy Valentine things instead. That was just a notebook. So I decided to admire the Christmas stuff and keep moving on. This store is very big. The area that we are in now used to be the bins. This was a cute idea. This was an advent calendar for your cat. And when I shook it to see, I said, oh, there's still stuff in there. I thought it was snacks, but then Jenny's eagle ears, she's like, wait, shake it again. We shook it again, and there was jingle bells in there, so we think there were toys in there. The bins used to be in this area here, and the hard goods were towards the back, and then they knocked down the wall. So this Goodwill, if you ever go here to the one in Avondale, it's on Hepburn Road. It's very, very big, and they have their stuff nicely organized compared to the big Goodwill where everything's just kind of thrown on the shelves. See, here's some Valentine things, but that's the only thing I found, which wasn't very exciting. That was a little box. That was marked Christmas, but it was kind of messed up inside. They have things organized. You can see they have a lot of crafts. They have a lot of office supplies. They had a lot of pots. Oh gosh, tons of pots and pans. And then I found this kitty cat mug as Jenny's looking down at the plush. It was a little crowded there, so I did have to move out of the way. Couldn't just stand in the middle of the aisle. And that was another thing. The aisles are wide. The ones up in, where do I go? Up in not Adamstown, Singing Spring, up there, Shillington. Slowly made my way to it. The ones in Shillington are very tight. This mug I thought was adorable. They love cats on Whatnot, so I think this will be a good seller on Whatnot. I might knit a little couple red hearts to put inside it when I sell it. Jenny wasn't quite sure what this was, and I realized it was a Christmas ornament, that plushie. I went back to look at the yarn. Here's a shameless plug for my other channel, Flying Pig Knits. I'm always looking to see now what kind of yarn I can find. I have found some really nice thrifty yarn and yarn thrifted. I've thrifted some really nice yarn. There you go. Words are hard. So I do tend to look at the yarn more. If you are interested in all things yarny, make sure you follow me along over on that journey, and I will put a link in the description below. Look here, it's kind of like before and after. Before and after. You can make a pom-pom wreath. Pom-poms are a lot of fun to make. So I'm just walking through the yarn, seeing what's going on. Then this caught my eye. This is big chenille, like big, huge, fluffy, mega, 2 balls that probably are only like 19 yards a piece. Not very much. So you can't really do much with it if you only have 2. And then Jenny was pointing out this Build-A-Bear. She has a Build-A-Bear, My Little Pony, but that one was pretty rough shape. So I decided, well, if there was more than that yarn, maybe I would do something. Then we're discussing how that poor pony's in bad shape. And so I put it back on the shelf because I thought, well, I really can't do anything with 2 small, even though they look huge, 2 small skeins of yarn. Can't even make like a little throw for the dogs or something. These are fun. I had those when I was teaching. And then underneath it was a purse, but then once I touched it, I could tell it was kind of cheaply made. So I left that big chenille fun yarn on the shelf and then found this glowy yarn. Holy cow. I didn't have my keys handy, so I couldn't use my black light on them. I think that yarn would have glowed like the dickens. I know there is some yarn that is reflective that people use to make like hats and stuff. So when you're out walking at night or running at night, you will be aware. The drivers will be aware of you. This was very pretty. This was a box of note cards. If I remember correctly, they were Emily Dickinson quotes. They were all different. And then when I turned the bottom of the box over, there they were. There were all the different quotes. Yes, from Emily Dickinson. So that is very pretty. I think it's only $2.99, and they look like they were all there. Then over here we had a little stitchery kit. I like to sell stitchery kits on my eBay. I think I have a lot of Christmas ones up there currently. And then this was a cute little thing. Just add walnuts. But it was not marked. It was not priced. And continuing to look down at the toys. I usually skip the toy aisle if Jenny's not with me, but she likes to see if there's any like hidden gems. She noticed that there was a lot of Squishmallows at this store, and there's a giant rainbow elephant. Look how colorful and happy that looks. And, oh, up here they had, it said frozen, and it was a and at first I thought it was like, that's a rock tumbler, but it was a puzzle or something. And then they had some playing cards. I like to sell vintage playing cards that have kind of kitschy designs to them. These were destination, obviously. You have Maui, then Hawaii, Ireland, and I think someone donated their destination playing cards because later on we're going to find some other cities that were on playing cards. Jenny has that puzzle. She's pointing that out to me, the Pokemon puzzle. And here were some other ones. Las Vegas. And I thought that's kind of a clever idea for if you travel a lot. They wouldn't take up a lot of room. And then look, I found 2 more of the same yarn. I thought, well, with four skeins, we can make something out of 4 skeins. It's so cozy. It's so soft. And I probably will crochet something out of it because that way you use up like every bit of the yarn. Then I was giving you a look at all the other metal stuff that they have here. See how they have it all organized? And there's a lot of stuff on the shelf, but it's not like overcrowded. I did list that the copper creamer and sugar and underplate. That is currently listed on eBay. Look how pretty this is. This is so pretty. I think it was German. Jenny was getting the yarn and she was smelling it for me. This bowl, and then I was like, wait, does it smell? So I had to get a sniff test, and it was fine. It doesn't smell. That bowl is so pretty, and we're going to go back to it in just a second. Pink and yellow was so pretty, but these do not sell well for me, but I was just admiring it, how nice it was. If someone had an antique booth, I think that would look very nice in their booth. But getting back to what I was saying before, I have listed the creamer and sugar, copper creamer and sugar on eBay, and the coffee mug that Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox is also listed on eBay. This was a really pretty teapot. I like the pink in that image. It was very bright pink, but this thing was cracked. Cracked around the base, cracked around the side, the lid was cracked. But Jenny was like, that would be a nice display for a plant. And I said, it sure would be. Now this had a marking on it. And I was able to look it up on eBay. It's from the 80s. Someone had said it was gold over pewter. I'm not sure. It does have little holly berries on it. There were some that I saw that were listed for a good price. It was only $1.99, and so I decided to get it because I figured it was worth more than $1.99, and I kind of liked how it was gold and shiny. And even if it is Christmassy, that's okay. I was kind of bending my rules again, not buying any Christmas stuff. But rules are meant to be broken. Here you have a swear box, but it was on a can, so that was a little confusing. And let's see, I think we don't really find anything else here. This was interesting to me. There was a marking on it, but I don't really know a lot about metal things. And it kind of looked like a spittoon / vase to me. We decided to look on the end cap before moving along. Jenny noticed the Beauty and the Beast plastic plate, and I noticed the Lady of Guadalupe plaque. Then remember this, isn't that Woolly Willy when you had those games where you put the magnetic stuff on his hair? And then this, Jenny wanted to see if this was Disney, but it was not. It was just a plate. She likes that movie. I like that movie too. Look, see how wide the aisles are? 2 people can fit down there. It was really nice. Then over here in the wrapping paper section, I was like, this doesn't look like wrapping paper. This looks like wallpaper. And it turns out it is wallpaper. I know some wallpaper sells very well. I believe this is called Best in Show. I had to unwrap the rubber band to find the name, because there was one this one right here has not been used. There's the name, Thibault. And there's one brand new one, and I'm going to put up some listed for that wallpaper. Sorry, it's called Best in Breed. At the very top, you can see brand new rolls for $139. And here are some sold ones. Some are new in the package, but I think I can still make more than $3.99 out of this package. I will unroll the ones that are open to make sure, because I did see there's some like a wear mark on one of them, but I will definitely unroll those to see and measure to see how much I have left. We were looking at the hat there. So I have never sold, I keep on saying wrapping paper, wallpaper. So it'll be very exciting to sell some wallpaper. And if not, this is really cute paper. And if you're new here, I have 4 dogs. So I kind of love dogs. So win-win, I believe. My mom had one of these when I was little. It's a sand castle made out of sand. We were looking at this sombrero. There. The words are hard when I'm trying to do a voiceover and then you see something else out of the corner of my eye. This was really neat. I hadn't seen this before. So they were coasters. And then I thought you could just put anything in there. But what they were made for is you put a cocktail napkin inside the coaster. So you could match your party. Isn't that kind of fun? And underneath it was a tablecloth with My Little Pony. We both thought that was cute, Jenny and I. I thought the coasters were cute. What a cute idea. I left them there. I do sell just about anything, but I can't buy everything. So I have to be a little picky and choosy here. There was one clog. It was not marked. And this is the area where I really enjoy myself because it's little figurines and stuff like that. And I love figurines. There was one shaker. It was a pheasant, I think, pulling a worm out of the ground. That was made in Japan. And I thought these were super cute for Valentine's Day. They were $1.99 a piece, which wasn't so bad. And I was thinking, well, I could make something to add to it because they were just kind of plain. They were not marked. I did kind of like that they were tomato orangey red and not bright red. But the more I looked at the watering can, there was a lot of wear to the paint. I just wasn't like, they're cute, but I wasn't feeling it. That one they bundled. You got a little trinket dish and that glass bottle of potion. Further over, this, not the sand, this, wait, where is it? There it is. No, not that. This I thought was a planner, but it was just a guy. Probably a bookend. This is for your plants. And I put it in this jar and I thought, wait a minute, let's look at this jar. And the little, it's Dansk. And the little seed things reminded me of those rice bowls that they have that pattern to them. Do you know what I'm talking about? And then I could see my finger through them. So I wanted to get my light out to see if you put a tea light in there, this could be a tea light. And I think that would be very pretty. And there weren't any chips to it. I like the kind of the style of it. So I decided to get that. What are we looking at here? I'm moving things out of the way because look at his giant hobbyist piece, this bell. But it had a big crack. There. And then I noticed there was a hole. That little black mark is a hole. I put that back. This was more contemporary. It's very, very neat. And then down here, Jenny used to do these perler beads when she was little, but this was a whole gingerbread house. Those were always so frustrating because if you bumped it one time and they all went flying, then you had to redo all the perler beads. Jenny saw this and we both kind of thought they kind of look so sad. I was looking at the refrigerator magnet. Sometimes vintage magnets can sell well, and I didn't really see anything that jumped out at me. So we went back to look at this, and sure enough, it was a hobbyist piece. It was marked on the bottom. It was obviously, look, they're all like kind of like, I love you. I'm gonna fall over. That bunny had a broken ear. Here is a whole shelf of figurines, but they're mostly resin and angels. So I kind of skipped over them pretty quickly. Turned this bag over to make sure there wasn't any Wade Whimsies or Hagen Renekers in there, but I was safe. There weren't any. This was a very pretty Japanese doll, but her hair had come off, and she had sustained some damage to her head. Still pretty, so if someone knew what they were doing, they could definitely rescue her. Look at Barbie. She is ready to party with her orange bottle. There was definitely a theme going on. They should have put her over in the Halloween section. She would have fit right in. Jenny found this cute little turtle, and then we found this note. It was weird, and Jenny's like, "Don't film that," but it didn't have any personal information on it. And then when I flipped it over, it was how to use an apple baker. So I felt it was okay. And then these are masks, and Jenny's like, "You always say the same thing." Because I was saying, remember when I said when I was in junior high and masks were very popular? And she's like, she'd already heard that story. I've already bored her with all my stories of childhood. Jenny thought that was cute. And then I was looking at this Romertoff. it was a little bit on the heavy side. My mom used to bake chickens in those when I was little. Those candle holders were very pretty. And this was neat. It was kind of had a brown transferware. But then, oh, look at these. These were so cute. But look, they weren't priced. A poodle and a bunny with kind of like sugaring on them. And the sugaring was green. So it looks kind of like they had moss on them. But they were not priced. And they won't sell things to you that are priced. But luckily, the cat, the grumpy cat, was priced, so I snatched him up. Look how grumpy he is. That'll probably sell on Whatnot. I was a little sad that these were not priced, but oh well, I have a cat. And then I thought this creamer, the colors on that creamer were pretty. So we're taking the grumpy cat. Sorry there were a lot of cuts there, but there were people sliding by and I didn't want to be bumpy, so sorry about all the cuts there. I know you understand, but sometimes I'm like, why am I turning the camera off and on? Because it was getting kind of crowded there. That was a Pampered Chef bowl. It was very exciting to come here because there were all this is brand new to me. It's not like, oh, same old stuff. Those were pretty. Those reminded me of spring. And then we moved on to the candle aisle. Over here in the candles, didn't find any lucite candlesticks. I'm always on the hunt for them because I have not found those in a long time. So I feel like I'm due. Jenny's like, I think these candles smell. And sure enough, they did. So we kind of zipped through the candles really quickly. Then these had puppy dog paw prints on them. And it said sand paws. And I didn't do enough investigation of why there were paw prints on the candles. But then Jenny read them, and I think she said they smelled, the scent was fresh linen. So maybe it was in case your dog is stinky, then you could light that candle. She was also saying that it would be pretty if you painted this rose to make it look like the rose from Beauty and the Beast. Down here were some vintage chalkware masks. Those things were so heavy. You'd need two hands to move those. She thought that was neat. That little artwork was neat. And then they had a restocking cart in the middle of the aisle, so I wanted to sneak around behind it to see if there were any hidden treasures. Look at all these bags. All those bags were neat. Looks like someone went on vacation and bought back, they went to Mexico and bought back some handbags. Here was a giant skein of yarn. I tend to not use Red Heart Super Savers because it tends to be a little bit squeaky when you're knitting it. I know some people love that brand, but I tend to stay away from it. That's just personal preference. That was a little flocked dog. It was a bank. And then I thought this dancer girl, I would guess that's Thailand, if I had to guess the culture of that. It was a musical thing, but her hand was broken. I was just admiring her outfit. I thought it was very pretty. I thought this was a David Winter cottage, but it was not. It was not marked, and David Winter cottages usually have green felt on the bottom, and they're embossed with whatever area or location that they're just talking about. I thought that at first this was going to be made of soap because of the shine to it, but it was not. It was a hobbyist piece. And even Jenny was like, that does kind of look like soap. It's tricky. We had Gone with the Wind. I love that movie. I used to watch Gone with the Wind all the time when I was in 8th grade. And I dressed up kind of like her for Halloween that year. I had a hoop skirt and everything. And then at the school I went to, you could dress up for Halloween in your costumes because we had a costume contest. And my mom had a hoop skirt because she used to go to the Dickens fairs in San Francisco. So we had a real hoop skirt and I wore it to school. And the desks were attached. The chairs and the desks were attached because it was back in the 1900s and 80s. And so I remember wearing that hoop skirt. And because if you've ever sat in a hoop skirt, you have to kind of hike it up and sit down. And it was a very challenging day that day, being Scarlett O'Hara at school. But I loved it. I loved it so much. Are there movies that you used to watch all the time when you were younger? It was that. And then my favorite movie of all time, not that you asked, is Rear Window. I love that movie. I love it so much. I've watched it a quadrillion times. I will never tire of that movie. So what is a movie that is your go-to movie? It'd be interesting to hear. This was neat. This was contemporary, but I like the colors on it. I thought that was very pretty. Now we're getting into the area of the store that was more like office supplies. But somehow these Christmas napkin rings had snuck in with the office supplies for some reason. So if you are in the mood, or if you're in the mood, well, if you are in the mood, or if you're in the need for paper or folders, this is the place to go. Jenny was super excited for a hot minute. She thought that this was a Pokemon character. She kind of gasped. She's like, oh, and then she figured out what it was. It was not a Pokemon. I guess it was a cover for your Kindle or something. And I was seeing if there was a price on that. I didn't see it. These can kind of be on the higher side at art stores, but if you wait, you can get a coupon, like at Michael's. Jenny has, I think, 2 of those that she used to use all the time. There's some switch plates. There's a variety. There's metal and plastic ones in there. And then in the middle of all this stuff were to these 2, I believe this is Franciscan Desert Rose teacups, but there weren't any saucers. They had made their way over to visit the office supplies. But look, like you could do some tiling. You could get a new doorknob. They have everything here. It was kind of like a reuse it store for a second. This area was kind of a little messy, I have to admit. But for the most part, I think I do film over in the cups and the plates. You'll see that it's very organized as well. We were kind of wrapping up our trip to Goodwill, and I spied this trinket box. It was made in England. I didn't bother looking it up. I just liked the design on it. It didn't have any chips to it. I just thought it was pretty. And so I decided to get it. I might look it up. Well, I will look it up. I'll look it up before I list it. I don't know if it'll be eBay or whatnot, but I decided to put that in the cart. This was a restocking cart. And then this picnic basket caught my attention because one time at the big Goodwill, I found a picnic basket and it was full of American Girl doll clothing. So I was thinking, ooh, maybe it will be again, but it wasn't. It was had a... My dog just burped. I don't know if you heard that. Madeline teacup set. And these poker chips were super heavy. But I felt they were not old and made of Bakelite, so I put them back. Jenny said, hey, look, that's my, she has this Squishmallow. And she said it needs to have new stuffing because it's kind of been squished down. And then there was the little baby, and then these were cute. Jenny said, oh, she likes the plush, but she doesn't like the real food. I like Peeps if they're dried out. All right, see, so here we are over in the mug section. Tons of mugs. If you need a mug, go to this Goodwill. Look how many there are. But it's easy to look at them. Like, they all have them upside down, so if you're looking for a certain brand name, you can spy them that way easier. Ever since I saw that Paul Bunyan mug, I'm on the lookout for more of them. They had Yoda eating, I guess baby Yoda eats frogs, so that was interesting. I'm on the lookout for another one, like, you know, it's made out of pottery. The one I got was Deneen pottery. But look how many mugs there are. There's so many. That one's missing its spoon. They have all the glasses organized. Then I spied this jar. Had a little glass bird on top, and it said family. Thought that was very sweet. Maybe it was the family candy jar. This was pretty, contemporary, obviously. But then look, it wasn't a vase. It was a lampshade. That tricked me. And then this was a clear glass vase, and I think someone made that. I think someone dripped some kind of paint and made that. I just got that impression. Down here was another mug. Was it the one? No, it was a teacher mug. That's why it's here at Goodwill. Teachers would rather have a gift card if you feel inclined to give them a gift. Just saying. I speak from experience. That was a sweet little creamer. And the last thing I picked up here on our trip to the Avondale Goodwill was this fairy lamp shade. I have a clear base, which I think will look nice with this one. I ran into some viewers at the store today, and that was very nice. It was nice talking to you, and I hope you all found some treasures at the Avondale Goodwill. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and are having a great day. Take care, and I'll see ya.